What is a realistic budget to dropship with in 2020 and onwards? What's going on, guys? Yash here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope everyone is absolutely having a great day. So, guys, today we're going to be talking a little bit about, in terms of what kind of budget do you ideally need to dropship in 2020 and onwards. Okay, so a lot of you guys that are just starting out, a lot of you guys who want to get started into e-commerce dropshipping, open up your guys' Shopify store, have been asking me, what kind of budget do I really need, Yash? Okay, do I need $100? Do I need $10,000? There's a lot of animosity, so I'm really here to clear that up for you guys and really set realistic expectations. A lot of other gurus and a lot of other people will tell you, hey, you need $100, $200, or I made $500 into $500,000, all that bluff. I don't want to beat around the bush or anything like that. I really kind of want to, stick strictly to numbers and really explain the reasoning behind each of those numbers on a month-to-month and yearly basis as well. Okay, so this is going to be a very, very realistic approach in terms of what kind of budget to have, what kind of capital to have. Do you need cash flow? Is cash flow important? How important is it? When do you need it, right? So all these things we're going to be covering in today's video, guys. And again, I really want to be as transparent as possible for you guys in terms of what kind of budget you have or you need to have to really maximize your return at the end of the day. So before I go on, guys, please do drop a like on this video. It would mean the world to me. And also turn on your post notification bells after you do subscribe to the channel. And lastly, also join my free Facebook group, Ecom Masterminds. I will be leaving a link to that in the description below with all my other social media platforms as well. So definitely check all of those, resources out to stay connected with myself. So guys, moving on. So what are some of your basic and mandatory costs? Okay, so in terms of dropshipping, you're obviously going to have a hosting platform. 9 out of the 10 people use Shopify. You can also use WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, but most people who typically dropship within e-commerce use Shopify just because it's an easier CRM, it's easier to navigate, and it comes with a lot of other features and benefits. There's no hidden costs or whatnot when it comes to Shopify. So you're going to be choosing your monthly plan, which is a basic plan. They have 3 or 4 tiers, but to start out with, you're going to be using a basic plan. Okay, now off of every order you get, Shopify as a platform does take 2.9% and 30 cents per transaction. Okay, that's obviously how they make their money. Okay, second, after you have your Shopify store, after you set up your theme and all of that, which we're going to be getting to in just a little bit, you obviously need a domain. A domain you're probably going to be paying on a year-to-year basis, on an annual basis, and that will be about $10 to $20 a year. Sometimes it's a little bit expensive if you add other security features and add-ons and whatnot, but this domain usually comes with inbuilt SSL security. Some places to buy domains are GoDaddy, Namecheap, and Shopify. I personally use GoDaddy typically for all of my domain names, but it's really, what's the best fit for you personally. There's no pros and cons. They're all great places to buy domain names. I personally just prefer GoDaddy because that's what I was recommended years ago, so I've kind of stuck to GoDaddy. It's kind of my go-to whenever I do want to buy a domain for a new, dropshipping store of mine. Next, you need to invest into a theme, okay? A theme is basically a template that will go on your store that you will build your store upon, okay? Now, a theme will be a one-time investment typically, and it will be anywhere between $50 to $300, okay? And why? Because these are premium professional paid themes. Obviously, if you want to do custom development work on it, if you're a coder yourself, or if you want to outsource it, do all these fancy things with your website, go for it, knock yourself out, but that does cost, a little bit more expensive, obviously, just in buying a theme. It can cost anywhere from a few $100s to a few $1,000s. So, that's definitely up to you. I personally don't do any custom development work. Sometimes I do when it's needed to, but it's very minute. Nothing, super fancy or anything like that. Usually a professional paid theme does the job. But why you want to use a professional paid theme is because your return of investment will definitely be like 20, 30, 40, 50x long term. A paid themes comes with a lot of features and benefits, such as a lot of customizations, a lot of apps and widgets that are pre-installed that will save you a lot of time and money in the long run. It's more responsive. They have faster loading page times. So, ideally, you really want a professional paid theme, not only to brand your store better and to make it look more professional, but to really, really, really kind of, get that sense of branding together, okay? To really make your customers feel like, you're a trustworthy store and, they feel confident when they're actually surfing or browsing on your actual store, okay? So paid themes are the way to go in 2020 and onward. So I definitely recommend investing into a paid theme. If you're going to do something right, if you're going to build that store, you might as well do it properly, from the get-go, okay? You don't want to kind of waste your time and money on a free theme and, not really get, your full traction, right from the get-go. Now, some of my personal favorite paid themes are the Turbo theme, the Booster theme, the Pipeline theme, the Gecko theme, and the Motion theme. They're honestly all amazing. Specifically, the Pipeline and the Booster theme are a little bit better and better suited for one product stores. The Turbo, Gecko, and Motion themes are better for general niche or niche stores because they kind of are more compatible with stores with more products. Okay, so that's just like a little FYI, a little tip from myself. Some of my favorite themes that I personally use for my stores before and currently as well. For some of your other basic and mandatory costs will be your Shopify apps. Okay, now your Shopify apps will run you on a month-to-month basis. I did get to include that, but these are month-to-month basis, anywhere from $30 to $150. Okay, again, these are an investment in your store that yields a higher return. We're not just putting any crappy Shopify apps and taking up space, because the more apps you have, it actually slows down your store speed. We want to have apps that basically enhance your store's performance and also maximizes your return in terms of revenue and sales. Okay, so maybe an upsell app, maybe a review app, maybe an email marketing app, an SMS marketing app. These are kind of all required if you want to really solidify your backend and really make the most out of your ad spend. Okay, or really make the most out of your marketing. And I've also kind of listed some app names specific to the apps I specifically use for upsells, reviews, email marketing, SMS marketing. Obviously, these are just some of the apps you need for your store, some of the apps I recommend. In terms of the best apps for your store to have, I actually made a video about it not too long ago. So definitely click on that eye right there on mobile and desktop, and that should lead you to some of the apps I absolutely recommend, having for your guys' stores. Okay, so I know a lot of people, I wouldn't say really cheap out because I'm not really calling anyone out with a lower budget, but I know a lot of people are hesitant in installing certain apps, but I almost guarantee you guys that they're there for a reason, and they're there because people use them and people see the value in them, not only short term but long term, right? I almost spend $230 a month on my main brand in terms of Shopify apps. Okay, so again, these are all the apps that will somehow enhance, optimize, or just bring more revenue to your store, whether it's on the front end or back end. Okay, so don't hesitate to have apps. More than likely, the more you scale your store and the more traction you get, the more traction you gain, you're probably going to have to invest in higher subscription app bases as well. A lot of these apps have like 7, 14, and 21 day free trials. They're like 10, 15, $20 a month. But as you start to scale, you're also going to have to increase, like I said, that subscription value of each app as well. Some apps are like $30 a month, some are $5 a month, some are $50 a month. So it really depends. Obviously, you're going to be starting out with like the lowest tier subscription basis for that app, but almost all my apps I pay like the high subscription basis, right? That's why I pay over $200 on for my apps collectively. And next, guys, these are kind of your other miscellaneous costs. You're going to have transactional fees, especially if you're using Stripe, Shopify payments, or PayPal. This goes for my audience that is in the U.S. I know PayPal is usually available everywhere. Stripe and Shopify payments not everywhere. So I'm just kind of generally speaking, in terms of an U.S. audience. Or basically wherever Stripe and Shopify and PayPal is available. So both Shopify and PayPal, as you can see, they both take a 2.9% plus 30 cent per transaction fee, and that is plus plus or basically every single order. Okay, so that's something you definitely have to consider as well. Logo for your actual store to represent your brand and other website graphics. I would say 10 to 250 bucks a year or as needed. You can outsource these things on Fiverr or Upwork. You can get a logo sometimes for as cheap as 5 or 10 bucks. Or if you're good at graphic design, if you're good at like video editing and Photoshop and all of that stuff, that's definitely a good thing to have. Honestly, content creation is so important when it comes to e-commerce, dropshipping, social media, ad creatives, websites. So that's definitely a skill to have, and that's definitely a skill that will actually save you a lot of money. So for those of you guys that are training yourselves in graphic design and Photoshop and video editing, props to you. And for those of you guys that have that skill already, that's so much time and money you're actually going to save. So that's absolutely amazing. I personally do have custom content or make custom content for one of my main brands. The that brand is actually white labeled, so that does cost me a little bit more, almost like $1,000 a year. But obviously, if you're just starting out and if you're like a traditional drop shipper, it's not going to cost you as much. Really depends on your situation and product. But usually I've seen about 10 to 250 bucks a year, or just as needed, as I put right there. So that's that. And then, like I said, again, content creation, it really varies. You're going to be repetitively needing stuff for your actual ad creative, meaning, videos, thumbnails, images, pictures. These are more like one-time things or not so often things, logo or website graphics, because you're only changing them up every so often. But videos, thumbnails, images, and pictures or whatnot, you're kind of changing up or you're kind of needing every few weeks, I would say, whether you're testing new products, new collections, or whatnot. So, that's something you can definitely outsource online or do yourself. And, like I was saying, custom content, that's when, that price hikes up a little bit. But, I would assume that if you're producing custom content, you also have that sort of revenue, that sort of traction already building on your guys' dropshipping store. So, that price really varies. There's no right or wrong number. So I would just say kind of as needed. Right. And lastly, guys, my favorite, let me just move myself right here, marketing and advertising, right? What most of you guys are probably wondering about. And this is going to be your main cost. Yes, it's going to be more than 60 to 70% of your total dropshipping business cost. Okay. Now, as you can see, you probably saw this already. I recommend to have a cushion, I recommend at least having 1,000 to 2,500 bucks allocated to simply ad spend. Okay, so yes, you do need capital, and you also need cash flow as well. A lot of my clients that I've worked with one-on-one, personally, I had cash flow because I was working at a very good job when I was starting my dropshipping business. But a lot of the clients I've been working with before and even now, we cannot scale efficiently and effectively because of cash flow. They maybe have a grand or 2 or 3 grand for ad spend, which is great. We're getting the ball moving, but it takes, a few days for your payment processors to transfer those funds into, your guys' actual bank account. So having cash flow is very important for like emergency side of things. Maybe one thing I didn't talk about is maybe hiring VAs, virtual assistants, to, spend a little bit more time on your business and in your business when you do actually get to that point of scaling, for customer fulfillment, customer service, order fulfillment, all of those things. You may need VAs or, you may need some emergency funds. And especially, to fulfill orders when you're scaling, kind of going back to my point, you're going to need that cash flow. So I definitely recommend having some cash flow as well. Either whether you have a side hustle or multiple side hustles, or whether you have a 9 to 5. I'm actually going to be making a video. So actually, guys, like this video again, or super like it. I'm just kidding, but like this video and comment below if you actually want me to make a video in terms of things you guys can do to actually get some cash flow, and especially if you do not have a 9 to 5 job. Okay, I will be more than glad to make a video about that. I know a lot of my audience is, between like 18 to 25, like just in school, high school, college. So I think that will be definitely something beneficial for you guys. So like the video and comment below if that's a video you guys do want to see. But like I said, guys, I do recommend $1,000 to $2,500 ad spend. cause you want some flexibility, guys, okay? And a lot of ad spend or a lot of paid marketing platforms, they're getting more and more expensive, especially Facebook ads and Instagram influencer marketing. Now I put an asterisk here because those are the platforms I focused on. But in terms of marketing and advertising, you can also advertise through Google ads, Snapchat ads, YouTube ads, Bing ads, and Twitter ads. I personally, obviously, my bread and butter are Facebook influencer marketing, but I'm also learning Snapchat and YouTube ads as well. Okay, so again, with any sort of paid social media marketing, you kind of need that cushion just because ads, these platforms are getting more and more expensive on a monthly basis. And also, guys, what a lot of people don't leave out on is like, oh, turning $200 into like quarter million or half a million on Facebook ads. They're bluffing. I can almost tell you confidently because I see Facebook ads in four phases. Okay, and I kind of, or any sort of paid marketing in four phases. And I made a video about this a while ago as well, and some Facebook tips and tricks. But phase one, guys, you're going to be unprofitable. Phase two, you are going to be breaking even. Phase three, you're going to be profitable. And then phase four is maintaining that profitability. That's fine. But the hardest part is phase one and phase two. Being unprofitable, moving on to that profitability mark, and then, moving on to that break even mark, and then going into that profitability mark, okay? It's because you need to kind of build momentum. You need to gather and build data. Okay, it just doesn't come overnight. You just don't go from spending $200 doing it the right way to making tens and thousands of dollars in weeks or months of time. It needs a lot of testing. It needs a lot of patience. So, when it comes to actually running ads, whether you have already ran ads or you haven't, if you have, then you know what goes into it. Maybe not completely, but there's a lot of split testing, there's a lot of A/B testing, there's a lot of testing different variables. So you need a little bit of a flexible advertising budget to really efficiently utilize your time, money, and energy. Okay, not just kind of have $200 because then you'll be super limited. If you have anything under $1,000, guys, I really recommend focusing on organic growth. Okay, organic growth is very important as well. I have another video on that about how you can make up to $1,000 a week in revenue simply by free online traffic. I will leave a video right there. But obviously, with paid advertising, that's when the scalability and that's when the consistency comes as well. Okay, so again, really find what the best fit for you is in terms of marketing platforms. I'm not biased towards Facebook ads and Instagram influencer marketing just because that's what I'm kind of good at, or that's what my bread and butter is, or that's how I personally started. Obviously, see what's the best fit. A lot of dropshippers do use Facebook ads and Instagram influencer marketing because they are so powerful. However, there's a reason why there's an influx of people on these platforms. Okay, and guys, lastly, my recommendation is mentorship and coaching, especially when it comes to the advertising side of things. It's very complicated. E-commerce is a whole nother beast. If you guys have never run an ad before, and a lot of people will go into this blindly and end up wasting the $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 or even more that they have saved up. You don't want to use your ad spend up, guys. Okay, you want to have a proper framework and a proper course of action in terms of marketing from the get-go. Okay, so invest in learning the fundamentals so you have the proper strategies and execution plan. Don't go in blindly. Be coachable and willing to learn the do's and don'ts. Okay, how to launch, how to set up, how to scale, all of those good things, guys. Learning your KPIs and metrics and data points and whatnot. Okay, and again, know the best fit for your store, meaning which platform is the best. I also got to I actually forgot to include Etsy and Pinterest. So Etsy and Pinterest are great, especially if you have like jewelry, apparel, accessories, and stuff like that. Okay, also great. Just a little FYI. But when it comes to advertising, guys, don't be stubborn. If you don't know what you're doing, it's okay to take a step back and to take 10 steps forward. Seek some help. Okay, that's what I personally did because I had everything down on the back end. I had my store up good. I knew how to make creatives, copywriting, descriptions, but the advertising is where I really lacked. Okay, so again, don't be stubborn, be coachable, be acceptable to implement feedback into action. Okay, that's not a bad thing because the advertising is where you're gonna really reach your goals at the end of the day. Okay, so with that being said, if you guys do want to hop on a one-on-one call with myself, if you're just confused about your overall marketing strategy, you need some guidance, whether you're just starting out and you need to set up your first campaign, or whether you're already making a grand a day in revenue and you want to scale that 5 or 10x, that's fine. Let's hop on a call. If you need some direction, that's totally fine. I want to help you guys, okay? I really want to help you guys when it comes to the advertising side of things. So I will leave a link to that in the description below, where you can actually schedule a one-on-one growth call with myself. We hop on Skype or Zoom so we can, see each other's screens. I can deliver my clarity to you. You can ask me questions, thoughts, concerns about marketing, advertising, all things e-commerce. But, a lot of the people who do, schedule these one-on-one growth calls with me, we usually do cover Facebook ads, because that's where most of your guys' hindrances and roadblocks will come. I can almost promise you that. Okay, so obviously, guys, if you're just starting out, or if you're planning to get started out, allocate your budget as efficiently as possible. It's always good to have some cash flow, like I said as well, to basically fund your ads, to keep them running, because obviously you need to pay Facebook on a week to week or monthly basis, and also to fulfill orders as well, right, to pay your suppliers. So you need some cash flow, and definitely have about $100 to $2,500, to have some cushion, guys. So I really, really, truly hope this video helped. I really try to be as transparent and clear as possible. I want you guys to win at the end of the day. How I see it is, if you guys win, I win. So, I don't want you guys to have the wrong information. I want you guys to have the most accurate information as possible, so you guys can really do the best, with your actual money, because that's very, very important, okay? So with that being said, guys, if you do have any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, please do drop them in the comments below.